start from the very beginning. When we were young, had we not been looked after by our mothers, we probably would have died. Or perhaps, if the Almighty willed, we may have been looked after by someone else in the absence of our mothers or our parents. However it has been, we need to realize the blessing of the Almighty, because when a child is very small, they need another human being to look after them in order to survive.
Which means essentially that your master, your Lord, declared that you be enslaved and worship no one other than He. And so the first part of this ayah is making a demand about Allah's rights on us. The second says, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Immediately after he says you should be enslaved to Him, he says you better be the best to your parents. The word ihsanan, without getting technical into the grammar, is actually an exhortation. You better be the best to them, the best you can possibly be to them. And you know, it seems like one half of the ayah was about Allah and the other half of the ayah is about parents. But if you look at the ayah, most of the ayah is about parents. First he says, you better be the best to them. Then he says, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرِ. Even if they reach old age before you, أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا, one of them or both of them, فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفْ. Then don't you dare say even say uff to them. We'll come back to that in a second. But وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا, and don't shrug them and don't brush them off. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا, and you better speak especially to both of them with noble speech, with respectful speech.
The rights of the parents are second only to the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is enough of an indication of how important and sacred the rights of the parents are. There is no secondary right to Allah other than the parents. After Allah immediately comes the parents. This is the message of the Quran throughout. And Allah Azza wa Jal even says, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ. In other words, worship Allah and be good to parents. He didn't say, and then be good. He didn't say part number 2. He said, wow, which is harf al-atuf, which means it is as if it is being equated, even though we know it's not equivalent. Worshipping Allah is more important than being good to parents. But Allah made it so important, it is as if it is almost the same. And the phrase, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, that you should have ihsan to your parents.
In the Western world, you have the concept of old age home, where the parent gets old, put them into the old age home. There is no concept of old age home in Islam. Because the duty of the children and the relatives is to look after the elderly people. They have to respect them, they have to love them. They have to behave with them with compassion. Unlike the Western world, which moment a child gets adult, the parents may have looked after the child, but moment he feels he can stand on his own 2 feet, then he shows his back to the parents.